What up, Facebook? What's going on, everybody? This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, aka Master Teacher 33. Got a major announcement. I also want to drop some nuggets in your lap today about the God kind and the God class. I want to talk a little bit about my journey. It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. It's been a long journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And the reason I say that is because everybody has a different frequency, wave, or vibration that like to have. And that just simply means we all have a specific destiny. Man, I should have brought my book. We all have a specific destiny, a dear Kania. Got my cup over here. I don't know if you can see that. My t-shirt. Just for some of my paraphernalia, my merchandise. But I want to talk to you really quickly about the new announcement, which is the bread and breakfast. So you guys know that I'm, in the process of building a, it's about a $1 million house. Now, didn't start off that much, but because of the inflation, the way things are going, the house has went up in value quite a bit. So I got this big, huge house, and I've been doing this for about 20 plus years, working with people, counseling, one-on-one counseling, and group counseling. And I want to take this to the next level by inviting people into my home for a 3-day stay, maybe more, depending on how effective it is. I think you'll be able to wrap your brain around, I'll be able to have a major impact in the 3 days. So we're turning this into a retreat. Again, the retreat, the house is going to be set up in a way and in a manner so that way everybody will be able to kind of shadow, if you will, so that way you can pick up the stuff that you can't pick up doing this type of a venue. So a lot of people, they are more hands-on. Some people can learn just by reading something. Some people can learn just by, watching a YouTube video. But then there's some of us, we need extra assistance, if you will. We need hands-on. So I want to take you behind the scenes. I'm looking to make sure that the camera and everything is working all right. And I want to take you behind the scenes, if you will, of a $1 million business so you can see what it looks like. Like, what do I do every day? And then why do I do it? I call this the God class. And the reason I like that, because the word God for me means the ability for you to generate unlimited chi, prana, or pneuma. So what causes you what amplifies you? What releases dopamine? Everybody has the ability to set up a positive dopamine feedback loop. You can do that. So that way your body, you set up and you create a role instead of a goal. Most people are married to the goal. They're trying to go somewhere. They're trying to get somewhere. Very few people have developed and established a step-by-step process, which is a daily role. So that's the point or the purpose of the retreat. In addition to that, the God class includes, it's like a retainer. So you have access to me and all of my material, everything that I've done, the Eagles Club, Kingdom Millionaires Training Center, Life Management Center, People Development Center, all the information that I've done over the years, you get access to. And the reason why this is so important is because, y'all like my cup? The reason why this is so important is because everybody, again, especially now with the economy the way that it is that people need guarantees. But more important, people need what I call resonance. So resonance is kind of like, the principle of resonance simply means that when something vibrates and then something else vibrates, those two things vibrate together. And that means if you're around somebody who's vibrating in fear, doubt, and unbelief, that vibration will connect with you if you are on that same access point. So the goal is for you to vibrate on a level where there is no devil, meaning that they can't access you. So that's called frequency resonance. That comes about, thank you, that comes about when you over and understand, or you surround yourself with people who have like minds. So one of the reasons, or one of the purpose for what I'm doing, is to establish that specific like-mindedness, if you will, so that way you can hang around with people who have like minds. But going even further than that is that a lot of times, I don't know no guru, pastor, reverend, Dr. Bishop that, you know, you have access to. The biggest issue that people have is that when they hit an obstacle, it's difficult to overcome that obstacle, sometimes without bouncing your own ideas off or with someone else. I already do that already, but I don't do it on a deep level. Meaning, a lot of the information that I know is what I call esoteric. It's hidden. So nobody pays me for knowledge. They pay me for research. So I'm a researchologist and I'm an etymologist. See, etymology is the key to linguistics. So it's not speaking multiple languages. It's the ability to understand one language on multiple levels. Let me say it again. It's not putting emphasis on speaking multiple languages. That's cool. But the key is for you to be able to understand one language 7 layers deep. So what I do is I take a language word and I break that word down 7 layers deep. I don't know no other reverend, doctor, or bishop that breaks their words down 7 layers deep. Now, that's my specific calling. That's what the 33 means. The word, people think this has to do with Freemasonry or numerology. It has to do with over understanding your specific path. So you get a choice. You can operate as a social path, still a path. You can operate, again, as a psychopath, still a path. Or you can operate in what is called pathology. That's disease or uneasiness. So the body becomes unease and it expresses itself as dis-ease, we call sickness. Dis-ease is nothing but pathology. It's a pathology. Ology means word. Path means lane that experiences either shame, chronic shame, or allows you to experience gain. If you get in the right lane, you will experience financial gain. That's the purpose of what we're doing. What I'm doing is establishing something on a deeper level. So everybody's on the surface, not everybody, but a lot of people are on the surface level when it comes to understanding whatever topic, whatever service, or whatever information that you're doing. So if you can go a little bit deeper and you can do something that most people are not willing to do, that's success. Success is the worthwhile pursuit. It is not the attainment. Let me say it again. Success is the worthwhile pursuit. It's not the attainment. Let me say it again. Success is the worthwhile pursuit. It has nothing to do with the attainment. The body releases feel-good chemicals whenever you are in the pursuit. Whenever you have the ability to pursue, that gives you the ability to persuade, which gives you the ability to prosecute. Now, I break this down inside of all of my cisterns or systems. And your cistern or your system should be able to hold water, like it says in the book of Jeremiah, I think it's chapter 29, where it says that you have broken cisterns or systems. Now, we know that the Bible is a book about the body. At least most do. Some still are not at that point. So this is not for new believers. This is not for people who are surface level. The bed and breakfast, the retreat, the one-on-one, full-time access to all about 20 years. That's 5,000, over 5,000 audios, over 300 books, over 400 7 to 30-hour series. It's enough content to freaking fill an entire library. So you got access to all of that information. So this is only for people who are serious, especially the bread and breakfast, meaning the retreat. So I'm not going to just let anybody into my home. So there's a qualification process. There's an application to fill out, just like if you was booking an Airbnb. It is a first come, first serve basis. What you'll be doing is you'll be coming into my home. You'll be going into, I have a big, huge office. This is the old home. Obviously, when I get into the new home, I have a state-of-the-art fitness facility. I'll be going and taking you through my regiment in 4 areas. I'll take you through my wealth regiment, number 1. Then I would take you, personally take you hand by hand through my health regiment, which I call theocentric nutrition or frequent intense training. And we break that down, and I show you step by step exactly what I do. Where you can, if you wanted to, you lose 30 pounds in 30 days and all the stuff that I talk about, watermelon detox, alkaline water, and all of that good stuff that I talk about. I will be working with you one-on-one for 3 days. Me and you for 3 days. Now, we got what, about 6 bedrooms? So there may be other couples. It would be great to be able to utilize it. So when I book the appointments, I'll let you know in advance if there will be another couple. Preferably, I would love to do groups. Let's say there's you and your significant other, and you have a family friend and that has a significant other. So that's 4 people. Well, we can book that retreat so that way you guys can come and you can shadow me for 3 days, and I take you behind the scenes of what I do, so that way you can see the money, you can see how it works, you can see the step-by-step processing. You understand how, again, theocentric nutrition when it comes to fitness. You understand how spiritual power when it comes to wisdom. You understand how faith, family, and finances work when it comes to relationships. And that's a big one, because remember, you don't marry people, you marry patterns. And when patterns change, people change. So when people get divorced and they break up, everybody get their panties in the water. Boo-boo, you should see it coming at least 5 years in advance. Once people change, some people want to stay in the same pattern. Poverty is a pattern. Sickness is a pattern. Ignorance is a pattern. I don't stay in those patterns. That's why I vibrate away from people who are in those patterns. Because patterns, again, they disempower you. And also, if you got the right pattern, it will empower you. So you have a choice today whether or not you choose the correct pattern. Some of you guys are married to personalities and people instead of patterns. And if you do not overstand, then you stay in that pattern. That is a negative habit pattern. It is an energy imprint. It is a soul tie. Usually, those soul ties, again, that ties you in bondage, and it doesn't allow you to exercise true amplification, which means you don't have the power to do what is called quantum jumping, which simply means make a decision and change it. So we call those addictions. So people have negative habits. That's the result of repetido or repetition. They can be easily broken. So those are the people that I'm interested in connecting with, is people who are in a rut and are having difficulty making that jump from $100,000 a year to $200,000. For people who are having difficulty losing the weight, changing your entire lifestyle. Theocentric nutrition is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, it's not a diet. And so once you establish a new lifestyle, bam, your whole life changes. When it comes to wisdom, wisdom is the result of awareness. It's the result of a consciousness. That's wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to expand your consciousness. So the reason why I'm opening up my home, so that way you can come and live with me for 3 days and follow me around for 3 days and pick up and see success habits. Because when I talk to people and I do counseling, I've been doing this for 20 years. People change temporarily because they don't have an accountability buddy. They don't have somebody that's going to hold them accountable. And sometimes you need that frequency resonance. You have to be able to connect with somebody. Man, I would love to been able to go to, for example, my guru was Dr. Miles Monroe. And man, I'd have paid any amount of money to be able to shadow Dr. Miles Monroe, follow him around, see how he built the Bahama Faith Ministries, and how he came up from Oral Roberts University to one of the most influential men on the planet before he transitioned. I would love to have an opportunity to go hang out with some of the quote-unquote gurus whether it be exercise and fitness or financial, to pick their brain, to find out what are the little things that they do that makes them successful, that separates them. There's a big difference between boys and men. Boys create problems. Men, we solve them. So this is an alpha male, and this is a divine feminine opportunity for you to be a part of what I call the God class. This is a class for the God kind. God means generate your own energy. You don't have to be an energy vampire. You don't need to be have somebody, freaking love bomb you every day. You don't need no Facebook likes, and you don't need a bunch of freaking YouTube friends. You generate your own frequency, your own wave, because you are driven by passion and purpose, not by penis and punani. When you over and understand the power of purpose, it destroys the manipulation of people. Where there is no power that comes from purpose, you're going to be manipulated by penis and punani or some people, because you have no pattern that's based upon purpose. Because where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. You're going to abuse yourself, and you're going to abuse everyone else. So I talk to men all day. You guys know I have a law enforcement and a corrections background. I never met a man in prison who knew his purpose. Ever. I've never met a man in prison who knew his purpose. Where purpose is not known, prison is inevitable. Because you have no ability, like the Bible says, where there is no vision, what happens? People cast off restraint. That simply means you have no ability to exercise control. So control doesn't come from rules and regulations. Control comes from purpose. So if you don't have your purpose, that just simply means if you don't know why you're here on the planet, excuse me, if you don't know why you're here on the planet, you're in trouble, boo-boo. You got to get you a job. My Father's Day cup. I've been showing it off. Kind of interesting, right? So if you don't have a job, guess what? You're in trouble, boo-boo. Y'all like my cup? So if you don't got a job, just over broke, you're in trouble. So brothers and sisters, that's my major announcement. I'm excited. I finally pimped the game. That just simply means that I understand universal spiritual law. It has nothing to do with the return of legion. Y'all call that religion. It has nothing to do with legion. Legion is a demon. That means you got too many minds. You should read James 1:8 that tells you what happens to people who have cognitive dissonance. So this is not about religion. You're not about returning to legion. That's not what we're about. That's not what I'm about. This is not about no get rich quick scheme. This is about you understanding you. Everybody has a faulty self-image. What does that mean? That just simply means that you do not have this. If you're listening to me today and you do not have this, it's a miracle you're still alive. Because if you do not know whose you are, and if you do not know who you are, that means that you are an imposter. You have an imposter spirit. See, I just finished the series on the number one problem on earth, which is a lack of a proper self-image. This only comes from knowing the self. You cannot be anyone else. You can only be yourself. Now this, a lot of people don't understand. This is why I teach it. This is 750 pages about you. This is your personal Bible. Everybody, listen to me. You need your own. If you can't afford, which you can afford, there's no such. We live in a world based upon abundance. There's an abundance of ignorance. When you find a Negro that's slow, he has an abundance of slowness. When you find somebody that have more bills than money, they have an abundance of bills. It's still abundance. Darkness is an abundance. It's not a lack. So there's no such thing as lack. We don't live in a universe of lack. We live in a universe of abundance. So you may have an abundance of nothing, but it's still an abundance. There's no such thing as lack. We live in a universe of abundance. Go outside and count the number of grass in your backyard. Go to a beach and count the number of grains of sand on the beach. Go outside tonight and look up in the sky and count the number of stars. Count the number of hairs on your head. There is no such thing as lack, boo-boo. We live in a universe of abundance. You may not be experiencing that abundance because you're not you personally, of course, but people you know, they're not authentic. The only way you experience lack is if you are operating in slack. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You might want to write that down. The only way you experience lack is if you're operating with slack. Slack is a loose grip of reality because you don't have the proper mentality. Ooh, damn, let me get some water on that one. Somebody should write that down too. When you operate in lack, it's because your hands are slack. It's like you got a loose grip on reality. Now that's inside of my book. I didn't bring it. I ain't got it out. Where's it at? Where's it at? I break that down inside of my book, The Ultimate Secret. So if you have a loose grip on reality, it's because you don't have the proper mentality. So you need a single standing column of waves. That is called a ruling disposition. We call it in the Bible a spirit. Now you can have a spirit of lust. You can have a spirit of fear. You can have a spirit of doubt. You can have a spirit of unbelief. You can have there's a lot of spirits running around. Which one you got? So a spirit, remember, means it's the most dominant thoughts. Usually it's unconscious. So the whole point in everything I do is I make the unconscious conscious. That's why people have so much success with the system. But it all starts with the diakonia report. That word diakonia is a Greek word that just simply means service and ministry. Everybody has a service or a ministry. The Bible calls it a gift. It also says your gift will make room for you and take you before kings. So if you don't have or know your gift, you are in deep kimchi. So my brothers and my sisters, that's it. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure you pick up a copy of the diakonia report. Everybody that's interested in the class, just simply email me at drwillrogers33@gmail.com. Email me at drwillrogers, the number 33@gmail.com. So that's the email address that I'm setting aside specifically for the God class. And if you got any questions on the God class, especially when it comes to the retreat and also all the information that you have access to, costs, everything is explained on the website. Just go to masterteacher33.com. The website again, masterteacher33.com. Click on the link that says private esoteric teachings. In this is the information that they teach usually in what people call, initiations and secret societies. This is the secret of how the universe works. And the universe works on a made-up mind. It's just that simple. The universe doesn't respond to fear, doubt, and unbelief. So if you're like this, now the Bible says the same thing. So it's really not a secret. It's just people don't really understand the esoteric meaning of it. So brothers and sisters, love you, appreciate you. I got to get up out of chill. I'm going to see y'all at the top. God bless. I'm out.